If you want to be able to buy the most expensive players and open the best packs in FC24, go to u7buy.com to buy your EA FC24 coins. It's cheaper than buying FC points and just as reliable. With their already amazing prices, you can get an extra 6% using promo code Inception at checkout. Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Guys, today we have some of the leaked Showdown cards to check out. There's actually like a few different options that are actually pretty decent for the most part. You know how Showdowns work. I think Showdowns for the most part this year, I gotta be completely honest, they're kind of trash, you know? I think most of them are pretty trash. They're not really cards to use in the meta of the gameplay for a long period of time. Like even back then when they released like the Mudrick card, right? Like Mudrick was like decent, but like nothing too crazy special even for that time period, right? So hopefully with the Showdowns this weekend, they actually do cards that are way more usable to work with. I just don't like these cards most of the times because they're cards that you need the improvement on, and if you don't, then obviously they're kind of not cards that last a long period of time, unless some sort of evolution drops in the future where it makes them good for the meta for the future. You know what I'm saying? Like that's always important to mention, because they've dropped evolutions recently where it's like, oh, you know, you can do an evolution for Otavio or whatever, right? But we all know that those cards aren't the craziest to work with. So the SBC that was already leaked was the Jairzinho. So you already did the review in advance for that, so I don't have to deal with that at 1 o'clock when that comes out. Tielemans we did. The Fantasy FC cards people were not crazy invested in, unless it's like the bigger cards that play for the bigger teams, because they're not as crazy meta to work with, right? So the first one that we have here is going to be João Felix and Depay. Why does it feel like Depay already got a card this year? Huh, that's funny. It was the Thunderstruck SBC. Way too much money during that time period, honestly. And even right now, you can't even evo this card. It's not even like a thing yet, right? Depay is one of those types of dudes where EA would have to, at the very minimum, give him a 5-star, 4-star capability, and it has to be like a card that's usable on an engine chemistry style with base card stats improved in pace, shooting, passing, and dribbling of the card. Because Depay is one of those types of dudes where you can definitely make him work, but he needs way more improvements for him to be good, because he's formatted for the hunter, you know what I'm saying, with the pace boost, with the shooting boost, but the dribbling is just not in the area that it needs to be to make him way better to work with, right? Maybe even give him dribbling play styles would be very helpful, right? Like I'll show you guys a very good example of a card I enjoy using a lot. It's this Jack Grealish card. So I don't know if you guys have ever used this card, but when it comes down to his dribbling in game, like it doesn't feel like 89 for agility and all that kind of stuff. Like it feels significantly better to work with in game. I couldn't tell you what it is, you know, maybe it's the unique body type working with the playstyles that EA ended up giving him, but it made this card the best version he's ever had in any, you know, FIFA, FC game, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like it's the best version of his card, right? So it's definitely really interesting to take a look at. With Depay, even with the Showdown upgrade, like I hope they at least make him a 5-star, 4-star at this point in the game, 100%. But yeah, he needs the drastic improvements in the dribbling to make him feel a little bit more responsive to work with in the meta of the gameplay, right? The next one is going to be João Felix. João Felix is kind of in a similar boat. I think the usability of the card is probably in a better area compared to Depay. These cards honestly only exist as of right now for future evolutions. If they cost 390k, I can only imagine what the Showdown version of the card is going to cost, right? So each one of these cards have their own thing. One has a Trivela Plus, the other one has a first touch to work with. So very important to mention that with the Showdown version, they're probably going to make him different in some sort of way, right? João Felix has nice base characteristics, but again, he's just formatted a little bit strangely, right? So hopefully in the future with this card, you know, you can provide him with the hunter chemistry style to boost the pace and the shooting of the card as much as possible, while, you know, working with well-rounded stats elsewhere, right? Because with this card, his dribbling is not necessarily in the greatest area. It needs to be a little bit higher to work with that 5'11 height with the unique body type that he has, to kind of make him a little bit more usable to work with. So we'll see what they do with the initial improvement on the card, as well as the upgrade if Barcelona can end up getting the W, right? It would be really, really big for a card like this. But again, it's always a chance with some of these cards, right? So the next one that we have here, so we have the showdowns that have been leaked, right? So we have obviously Chelsea versus Newcastle, as well as Liverpool versus City. So they've already leaked some of those showdown cards as well. The first one is obviously going to be the Akanji card, right? So Akanji, not Dutch, so it'd be the Swiss flag, of course. Akanji actually has a lot of potential if they give him the right evolutions, because to be fair to this card, he actually has the minimum height. He has defensive capabilities that could be pretty solid. Obviously, if you did not go in the evolutions direction, this one's Centurion center back into Team of the Year center back prospect. He needs a couple more play styles to work with. So obviously with him, Jockey Plus is a W for sure. Intercept Plus would also be a W to work with for sure. Pings pass, long ball pass, like from this card alone, from the evolutions, there has already been some pretty significant improvements to make him a decent card, right? But with defenders, they just gotta like boost these cards up like crazy when it comes to like the play styles. They gotta give them an anticipate, they gotta give them intercept plus, that kind of stuff to make them a little bit better to work with, right? But Kanji, definitely a lot of potential there in regards to being a good center back if they provide him with the right play styles, right? I think that Clark is a pretty cool option to go with. Just be careful with these types of cards, and we're gonna check them out when they do come out. But I was about to say, is it Bobby Clark? Yeah, it is Bobby Clark. This card right here, evolutions wise, you know, he's already gotten to a point where he's a pick it up type player. Obviously, this card does not have any defensive stats. Even if I were to go to like these ones, I don't even think that any of them have defensive stats. There's like this one that does from the 72 defense, which makes him usable. But the showdown card is gonna make the card significantly better to work with, I think, right? Especially if they actually format him in this sort of way where it's kind of like I guess like a McAllister 2.0 in a sense, right? That would definitely be really cool, right? But it just depends on what they do with the card, because with Clark, we have to go all the way to the bottom here with him because bronze player, right? He has medium work rates, average and lean body type, 5'10". I don't really care too much about cards having the medium work rates. You know, when I used the Tielemans card, I didn't really care about it whatsoever. And a lot of cards are kind of like that as well, right? Where they have those work rates, but you don't really care too much about it. A very good example of this is the Luka Modric card, right? Average and lean body type, medium work rates. This card is really nice. It was this card right here, actually. They overpriced this SBC astronomically, right? 15k dislikes is fully warranted for this. But the card is a good card in game, right? Just unfortunate at the price range that they ended up putting him at. But yeah, with Akanji, definitely has potential to work with. And Clark definitely could be nice if they kind of format him in a way similar to the McAllister card. Because McAllister, after the upgrade, was a pretty decent upgrade. It was actually pretty nice. I actually enjoy using this card for this meta. You know, a nice little 4-3-3 and stuff for him performs really well. 4-3-2-1, like this card can actually perform really well. And the reason being for this is because he has press proven with relentless. I feel like those two play styles together is a really big deal. And you know, maybe they could do the same thing with the Clark card as well. And then last but not least, for the leaks that we currently have, the last one here is going to be the Isak card as well as the Chilwell card, which, to be fair, both cards can definitely be really cool to work with depending on what you're going with, right? So with Isak starting off, it's a physical type striker, right? Probably a guy that you're going to give a hunter chemistry style to boost the pace, the shooting to be as high as possible. They definitely need to give him some pretty significant improvements just from the base card stats, because his dribbling is on the lower side, and improving that would definitely be really nice. Potentially, at the very least, with an engine chemistry style would be really cool. But maybe they made him make him a controlled lengthy player as well. It just depends on what the direction is that they're going to go with this card. But you know, physical type attackers usually not the meta choice to go with for the most part. But you know, they could surprise you and actually do pretty well in game, right? So it just depends on a couple variables, right? Couple variables for sure. Chilwell will be the last card that we have for the leaks as of right now. With Chilwell's card, he obviously has the evolutions version of his card, which is the Pep's Legacy, but you would have had to put him into a lot of different evolutions, crossing crusader, left back, like a rock, Pep's Legacy, to kind of get him into a point where, to be fair to him, is still not really usable, right? So with Chilwell getting a new card from the showdowns, you know, hopefully they put his pace to a certain point where it actually makes him way more usable to work with. On this card, he currently only has a regular jockey to work with, so a couple more play styles would definitely be a really huge improvement for Chilwell as well. So this third one is an interesting one. It just depends on how they improve the cards, to be honest. I think the first two are going to be the main ones for a lot of people for the most part, right? But the third one, because of Isak being physical oriented and Chilwell not having base stuff, but maybe does when they actually release him, then there's more potential to work with there. But yeah, as of right now, that is all that we do have to go off of right now. So again, you know, an hour or two from now, they could release more Showdown SBCs, but that is what we currently have. Okay, so hopefully you guys enjoy this video today. I will catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.